What David's looking at with his glasses on is a bankruptcy filing, and there's a list of creditors. The entities to which Aspiration and all of their alleged fraudulence still owes the most money. And what I noticed is what David is noticing right now, which is that on that list of creditors, up near the top, above the Boston Red Sox, is an LLC.
If you guys haven't been following the bombshell reporting that, the Clippers allegedly circumvented the salary cap to pay Kawhi Leonard an additional $28 million. That is the alleged report coming from Pablo Torre finds out. He's been on a heater, by the way, guys. So you can go watch what he put out. It's a great video. I just wanted to do a little quick one, break it down from my point of view and from my understanding. Now, definitely interesting with everything that's going on, but basically this company called Aspiration paid him $20 million for a no-show job. So the report, by the way, a lot of the documents that Pablo shows in here are publicly filed documents because they're LLCs in the state of California. Now, the document that he did show of the $28 million salary being split into 3 payments of $7 million.
Essentially dull because it was to circumvent the salary cap, LOL. There was lots of LOL when things were shared.
Did you ever see proof of Kawhi Leonard marketing or endorsing Aspiration in any way?
Never, not once. The single largest payment to an individual for marketing that Aspiration ever made has completely evaded all press. It's honestly incredible. Nothing. He didn't have to do anything.
In other words, Kawhi Leonard got from Aspiration a $28 million no-show job.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm honestly so jealous.
Was one that he received from a former employee. So the alleged scheme scandal says that, from direct quotes, that the company paid $28 million through an LLC owned by Kawhi Leonard, which netted him $7 million annually. Now, the reason why we know this is because in the one filing where this company was going bankrupt, Aspiration, it said they still owed $7 million to the LLC. So the whole situation can be publicly viewed in the California court system as the now bankrupt company called Aspiration, a tree planting service funded by Steve Ballmer and owned by him, agreed to a $28 million legal agreement with KL2, Kawhi Leonard's company, KL2 Aspire LLC, and they still owed him $77 million. So Pablo then dug up and found that a clause in one of the contract documents between Aspiration and KL2 Aspire LLC stated that Leonard could decline to proceed with any action desired by the company, essentially giving Leonard the ability to get paid without doing anything. Another clause stated Leonard would only be paid if he remained a member of the Clippers. So the payments from Aspiration to KL2 Aspire LLC were sent to Dennis Robertson, Leonard's advisor, who was investigated by the NBA in 2019 for asking for impermissible benefits. The NBA completed the investigation to Robertson, also known as Uncle Dennis, and found no evidence the Clippers granted illegal benefits to Leonard while pursuing him in free agency. Now, the interesting part about this is that the employee claimed when speaking to Pablo Torre that the agreement between Aspiration and Leonard was done to circumvent the salary cap. And the entire scandal can be seen on Pablo Torre's Twitter in a 4.5-minute video that summarizes the entire thing. And the Clippers have responded to the allegations by sending this following quote to Torre: "Neither Mr. Ballmer nor the Clippers circumvented the salary cap or engaged in any misconduct related to Aspiration. Any contrary assertion is provably false." At the time, sources told Sam Amick of The Athletic that there was no evidence of illegal benefits found during that Uncle Dennis investigation. And the NBA hasn't issued a statement at this time, but it's definitely one of those that you sit here and you look at it and you're like, wait. So Kawhi Leonard took a below market contract in free agency a year or so ago. And if these are paying him $7 million in 3 payments, because it was 1 year payments or yearly payments of $7 million sums, so they still owe him for this season. They still owe him, or they paid him, that means, last season and the year before. Wait, could have Kawhi Leonard signed this deal before he got into the free agency in the year prior, obviously before basically last year, having already been paid twice, $14 million in total, by Steve Ballmer through this company to remain with the Clippers in what many thought was an undervalued or below market value contract. If that's true, I mean, that's pretty crazy. So that's my whole 2 cents on the whole thing. I will want to hear your guys' opinions. I think it's a very interesting one. And if the NBA investigates this, all they're going to do is take away a pick. That's the only punishment. It's just tampering. I mean, yeah, like the worst thing I could see is them giving the Clippers a penalty similar to what Joe Smith penalty was. I don't know if you guys remember that. Timberwolves, they made, so the penalty for the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Joe case or Joe Smith case was severe, where they got 5 first-round picks docked. So that could be the worst case.
What we know is that NBA executives were suspicious of how Steve Ballmer's Clippers landed the most valuable free agent on the market, Kawhi Leonard. That the NBA did not find that Ballmer got Kawhi by sweetening their offer. But also that in March 2025, this celebrity-endorsed, multi-billion-dollar, allegedly fraudulent tree brokerage named Aspiration, which promises to clear your conscience and your emissions, they filed for bankruptcy. And this is where the clue is. What David's looking at with his glasses on is a bankruptcy filing, and there's a list of creditors. The entities to which Aspiration and all of their alleged fraudulence still owes the most money. And what I noticed is what David is noticing right now, which is that on that list of creditors, up near the top, above the Boston Red Sox, is an LLC. A tiny little company that Aspiration owes $7 million. And that LLC's name, David, is what?
KL2 Aspire LLC.
And what does it list there under manager or member name?
Kawhi Leonard.
Whose NBA jersey number, just to connect all of the dots here, happens to be what?
Number 2.
So then the question is, the Aspire part of KL2 Aspire LLC, right? Because, okay, he's getting all this money, millions of dollars. What I started doing was scour the internet for any mentions of Aspiration. Any appearances, tweets, quotes, Instagram posts, anything by Kawhi Leonard endorsing Aspiration. And this was hard to find, which also might seem weird, right? Because every other celebrity Aspiration gave money to was well known. There was Drake offering a statement to Rolling Stone. There was Doc Rivers, Kawhi's own head coach. Robert Downey Jr. was cutting his commercial. That was the whole point of paying the A-list Avengers. But the grand total number of times that I found Kawhi Leonard ever publicly referencing Aspiration, 0 times.
Right.
Kawhi Leonard mentioned Aspiration. And so what I started doing was reaching out to dozens of former Aspiration employees. A grand total of 7 of them ultimately agreed to interviews, which is also how I have exclusively obtained this signed and executed document.
In consideration of the rights and benefits granted to company hereunder, the company will pay KL2, which is Kawhi, $28 million in cash during the term of this agreement. Company will pay KL2 $7 million each year of the term.
That is Kawhi Leonard's autograph. I convinced one very important person who worked in the finance department of Aspiration to go on tape.
And I didn't so much as discover it as I was told about it.
What was your reaction? What were you told?
My reaction was, what the fuck? And I was told, like, oh, these are the major contracts and the major players you really need to be aware of. And we went through a litany of, really, really top tier name contracts. And then, oh, by the way, we also have a marketing deal with Kawhi Leonard, a $28 million organic marketing sponsorship deal with Kawhi, and that if I had any questions about it, essentially don't, because it was to circumvent the salary cap, LOL. There was lots of LOL when things were shared.
Did you ever see proof of Kawhi Leonard marketing or endorsing Aspiration in any way?
Never, not once. The single largest payment to an individual for marketing that Aspiration ever made has completely evaded all press. It's honestly incredible. Nothing. He didn't have to do anything.
In other words, Kawhi Leonard got from Aspiration a $28 million no-show job.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm honestly so jealous. So jealous. I mean, he's got the dream. Like, it's within my beliefs to be paid $28 million and do absolutely all as well.
The Clippers, however, provided a statement on behalf of the organization and owner Steve Ballmer, which reads in part, quote, "Neither Mr. Ballmer nor the Clippers circumvented the salary cap or engaged in any misconduct related to Aspiration. Any contrary assertion is provably false." End quote.